Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone, especially our invited panel members. Thank you for locating your time. I'm Muhammad Shafiq as a moderator in this forum. So today we will discuss the issue of why we need support to local products or business. Before we start our discussion, let me introduce our panel members first. At my right is Mr. Alif Haikal, and at my left is Mr. Shahid and Mr. Alif Izwan. Now one day, the people in our country are less confident in their own products. It's said to be of poor qualities. They prefer to use imported product from foreign countries such as USA, Japan, Chinese, and more than that. So to discuss this issue, I'm invited Mr. Alif Haikal to explain more about this issue.
Thank you to our moderator, Encik Muhammad Shafiq bin Muhammad Aizam. So during the pandemic of COVID-19 today, our local business also affected by the impact. So all of the business running a bit slow than usual. The industries most affected by the MCO to cope the spread of COVID-19 were the manufacturing sector, including transportation, construction, tourism, and its network. When the pandemic crisis is over, spend on the sectors and travel with your families and in Malaysia. There are definitely many interesting places that have not been visited. Give economic opportunities to small entrepreneurs like Makcik Kia, who runs a restaurant, Pak Samad, who runs a homestay business, Mr. Wong, an entrepreneur in the field of electronics, Mr. Anand, a renovation contractor, and Encik Jamal, who works as a daily paid tour guide. By doing this, you can help people to revive them from this pandemic. Also allows those who have been laid off or those whose business has fallen to get a job again. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alif Haikal. There's a really great ideas on this issue. How about you, Mr. Shahid? Do you agree with what Mr. Alif Haikal said? What about your opinion? Can you share your opinion with us?
Okay, so the next reason why we should support our local business because it will reduce the environmental impact. As example, small local business usually set up shop in the town or village center, providing a centralized variety that is much friendlier to a community walk score than out-of-town shopping malls. This generally means contributing less to sprawl, congestion, habitat loss, and pollution. As example, people will mostly just walking from home to local shop because it is nearby their house. Meanwhile, if they need to go to shopping mall, they will most likely will use car, and this will affect the fresh oxygen and become air pollution. So by supporting our local business, it is not just helping our local people, but we're helping the environment too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shahid. A short and concise explanation, but the meaning is very profound. In my opinion, you seem to agree with what Mr. Alif Haikal discussed. How about you, Mr. Ali Izwan? Is it possible that you also agree with what was discussion by Mr. Alif Haikal and Mr. Shahid? Or do you have another opinion?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I do agree with our first panel, Mr. Alif Haikal, but there are also other reasons why we must support our local business. Since advent of COVID-19, Many parties or companies have been affected, and indirectly, they have chosen a solution by dismissing employees. Nearly half, or 46.6%, of the participants who participate in the special study of the effect of coronavirus on the economy and individuals, they are admit to losing their jobs as the result of the outbreaking. According to Chief Statistician of Malaysia, Dato' Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Maidin, said 9 out of 10 respondents who were still working also admit to experiencing a reduction in income than usual, with the agriculture and service. The sector record a higher percentage of job losers than others. For example, we can see a Asia company that had to lay off 10% of its total 24,000 workforce since last week. In this regard, we need to support our local business because it's creating employment opportunities is also identified as the benefit of using locally made goods. This means that the more Malaysians who buy locally made goods, the more the demand increases and requires a lot of production, which in turn requires a large of workforce. The example requires a large workforce, which in turn will create employment opportunities for unemployed people. It should be noted that the benefit of using locally goods are creating jobs opportunities. In conclusion, by supporting local business, we can get various benefits, and what I hope is that this method can extend some unemployment rate. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alif Izwan. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the forum. Thank you everyone because you are willing to be with us today. What all our panel's members are saying today is very important to all of us. We must support the existing business or local business in our countries so that our countries will develop on beyond by with other countries. Thank you again, and I say to all, hope see you again. Thank you.